Hello and welcome to CIO News. I am Khushbu Soni, your host for the broadcast and chief editor at CIO News. This is our exclusive interview series on the topic of voice of CIO. It is a recorded session and will be available on our website, that is cionews.co.in, and our CIO News LinkedIn handle. It gives me an immense pleasure in introducing my guest for today. He is Mr. Kaushik Majumder, the Head of Digital and Information Services, South Asia at BASF India. Kaushik is a doctorate and MBA in IT with more than 21 years of rich experience in the field of leadership, strategic digital roles, digital transformation that includes setting up the complete transformation of legacy of IT teams in various regions like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka to to a trend-setting team undertaking and delivering various digital transformation initiatives. Kaushik has been a part of Asia Pacific Talent Pool for executive leadership role, handled business size of more than 1.3 billion, global operations in more than 110 countries, large team with 150 plus, and has worked with large number of service providers, outsourced partners, vendors, startups in the current and the past roles. Kaushik's experience with proven track record in building high-performance digital IT team by leveraging knowledge in the large scale of IT operations, technology adoption, competency build-up, customer-oriented mindset, techno-commercial experience, and resource utilization as well. Kaushik, it's an absolute pleasure to have you today, and I'm sure there is going to be great insights for our viewers through this session.
Khushbu, thank you. That was quite a heavy introduction of mine, so thanks a lot for that. But I am just a normal, guy who is dealing with, technologies and helping the organization to, do its digital journey. That's how I can tell you.
Yeah, on the simplest, I think I can really vouch for that. But I'm sure that a lot goes on the back end that you work upon. So great. I wanted to start with Kaushik asking you the first question. How have you seen the benefits of adopting digital transformation and which also includes cloud adoption, specifically in the chemical industry? How have you seen these trends, helping the chemical industry specifically?
I think the pandemic that we are in the last, 1.5 years actually showed what digital, strategies are very important to any organization.
Right.
And cloud as a strategy has to be part of it. So it cannot be, outside cloud.
Right.
People who are the early adopters of cloud or digital, transformation, it was a smooth journey for them. And people who have been, delayed with their adoption had no other options other than to speed it up so that they are still on business. So that's the kind of, the benefits that has been proven by the adoption of cloud or whether it's digital transformation. It's not a choice anymore. It's whether we just imagine today we are doing this interview over a cloud platform itself.
Right.
So this itself proves the importance of having cloud or part of your digital journey.
Right. Right, awesome. And I'm pretty sure there has been a lot of cost effectiveness that is brought in through cloud computing. So any highlights that you would want to share? How has cloud computing been cost effective, or even how chemical industries can utilize cloud computing to operate in the future?
So one of the major driver of cloud is not only the comfort of whether it's scalable, easy to, the speedy to deploy. It's also a cost that plays a very, wide factor. And this all comes from the, the benefits of whether it, you can scale it at any point of time. You can, you don't need to think about the maintenance or the running the maintenance costs around it. You actually go into a model where you pay what you use. So That's the kind of a model that you are in. So you can always have the, I will say that the comfort of getting into a right subscription when you need it. You can, have your contracts based on the volumes that you foresee, and that keeps you going in terms of cost effectiveness. So that's a major benefit that, cloud offers, and all digital, projects offer to any organization. It has to be fit for purpose. I always keep on telling this to all my peer group, that, digitalization is such that, it is divided into two parts. One is good to have and one is need to have. And you will always need to prioritize the need to have first over the good to have.
Right, right. And what have been the top reasons that you see, robots or robotic technologies can benefit in the chemical industry? And if you can throw some expertise around that.
I think, whether it's a chemical industry or any industry, bots are now again, everywhere. It is in forms of the physical bots, or it is in forms of the bots that is, working with your, on the logical side of it, be it the, in terms of robotic process automation, AIs that runs. For example, many of your non-productive work today, you do not need to think about that. You give it to the, the bots to take care of it, where you can spend that particular time for something more productive, something that you can spend to even improve your work-life balance, something you can spend to learn something new which is coming up in the industry or in your particular workspace, to
Right.
keep you more, ahead of others. So that is something I see as a great advantage of adoption of, bots in any organization, and that has also helped us in a great way
Right.
in terms of doing that.
Awesome, awesome. And how also both in terms of large and small jobs in the chemical plants, how it can benefit, like how can robotic technology benefit in both of these kind of plants?
So it's in many ways. I'll say that, be it in terms of way you not run your maintenance, to the way you run your processes, be it in the production line, or be it in the back office kind of jobs that you do. A typical, day of, say, suppose a customer service executives, where he or she need to run several, sales reports to empower the, the force on the ground with various, analytical data. It takes a hell lot of time for him to do that. Give it to RPA or the, the MS that are there. Let it run by themselves. Right? You devote more time in interacting with the customers. Be more close to your customers, and that's the way forward. I see. There is always a myth that, bot actually is takes away job, to be very, very open with you. But that's not the case. That's a wrong way of, spreading a wrong perception. Bot actually is there to help you to get rid of your, I will again repeat this, non-productive jobs and make you more productive. It
Correct.
cannot replace you. It's there to help you.
Correct. Correct. Very rightly said. I think that is how innovations can be brought in, and that is how we all can actually start focusing on doing not the redundant work but the productive work. Very correctly said. My next question is: what are the challenges in the chemical industry that has been faced since the pandemic started, and how can these innovations help organization to overcome challenges? Improving flexibility at the chemical plants, etc. So if you can throw some light on that.
Yeah, I think, it will vary from organization to organization, even in the chemical industry, based on the way they have, implemented their digital strategies on the ground. For a typically an organization like us, who are very matured with our digital roadmap, in terms of its adoption, be it in the areas of production or be it in the areas of day-to-day work. Uh, it's led by a very strong strategy, and that helped us. I will give you some simple examples today. For example, when we was hit by the pandemic and there was a complete lockdown, the entire workforce went on a remote working. So what actually proven is that the infrastructure that you're running, if you're running it on the cloud, it helped you to scale it to that need at that very moment. Whereas organization who was lagging in adapting that had to find out alternatives to do that, or in terms of moving that at a very fast pace. So that exactly helped in terms of selling through during this difficult days. And I see that cloud adoption or digital transformation that we did in terms of taking, whether it's the application or the data on the cloud, it actually helped us to have a very more smooth transition where my users never felt a difference whether they are working in office or they're working from home, for an example. And same goes for production, where our new lines were coming up, where the exact engineers were not in the country, they were outside, and they could easily, with the use of HoloLens and other technologies that are there, they could easily make that commission being in remote location. So these are all the few examples I can share, and this is not unique to our organization. Many such multinationals are doing that, and that exactly is how we are surviving in this new world that is emerging today.
True, true. Awesome. Great insights, Kaushik. One last question before we end the episode. Any best practices, do's and don'ts that you would want to recommend or suggest from your learnings to our viewers from the IT fraternity?
I think this is also going to be very common for my peer group who faces this on a day-to-day basis, where your workforce actually come across different nomenclature in the market, be it in terms of the technology names or be it in terms of what is happening in terms of solutions or the offerings. You need to be very mindful while you choose or adapt them. It has to fit, I again repeat, it has to fit for the need that your organization is driving for. So that's very, very important. The second aspect I'll say is that digital adoption is no longer limited to a particular legacy IT teams. You have to create digital citizens. You have to create that culture within the organization where people actually start working with the low code, no code, platforms, be it in terms of, the MS platforms that are there, whether it's MS Microsoft, Power platforms that are there, or the several other, or cloud-based platforms that exist today. So educate your users, bring them along with you. Then it actually pays off at the end of the day. This is very important, that days are gone where IT is limited to the legacy IT team. It has to be a collaborative effort that needs to take you to the next level of digital transformation.
Absolutely. I think the collaboration between the business and the technology is the must. And like you very rightly said, I think educating the business team of how technology can really help is very important now than ever. Great insights, Kaushik, once again. And thank you so much for taking out this time and joining us on this episode of Voice of CIO. It was an absolute pleasure to host you and get all your valuable insights.
Thank you, Khushbu. It was also a pleasure for me to sharing, my thoughts with you, and wish you all the best. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.